Sit-stand desks. Listen, if you are like me and you spend a ton of time at the computer, then you have totally pondered getting yourself a sit-stand desk. After a couple hours of sitting, your back and your underside just start to ache. The best thing you can do is get up and stretch, but that can sometimes kick you out of the flow of your work that you're doing. And a sit-stand desk solves that problem. FlexiSpot sent me out a sit-stand desk to do a review on, so I'm here to share some of the benefits, because if you don't have one and you're always sitting at a desk, then you are missing out. The FlexiSpot E6 is the desk that I received, and it comes in two packages, one for the desktop and one for the legs, just to make shipping a little bit easier. The E6 comes in a ton of different finishes, different colored legs, different size tops. It's really easy to find a specific desk that will match the vibe of your space. I personally went with the 78-inch bamboo top with white adjustable legs. Building the legs is surprisingly easy. Me and my roommate were kind of intimidated initially, but once we got into it, everything was really simply labeled, and you really just screw all the different parts together according to the instructions, and there's not really any craziness that you'd expect with a crazy furniture build like you would with IKEA or something. And I do have to mention that we ran into one issue when building the desk after we had completely finished the legs and it came to attaching the legs to the desktop itself, but it was incredibly quickly resolved by FlexiSpot's support team. The problem we had was the fact that the 78-inch desktop is the longest that FlexiSpot makes. And in the instructions, when you go to put the legs down on the desktop, it wants you to extend the center support bar all the way to the pilot holes that come from the factory desktop. The only problem is that the support bar was not long enough to stretch all the way. So I contacted support and they said, hey, this is the biggest desktop, so the pilot holes are in the normal spot, but the bars aren't long enough. Just line it up, drill it in, it's perfectly safe. All good. It was a little bit confusing, but they cleared it up super fast. We just drove the holes ourselves. Driving my own screws really wasn't a headache at all because you already have to do it to install some of the electronics. So it was a really quick response. We drove the holes, everything was great. I hope that in the future they put a little asterisk in the manual saying if you have the 78-inch desk, can't use the pilot holes. But besides that, it was a really easy building experience. Once I got the go-ahead to actually drive my own screws, I just grabbed a straight edge, lined it up with the pilot holes, drew a line, and drove those holes. And yes, I for some reason used a Scarlett Solo as my straight edge. I don't know why, but it's flat and it worked, so. When it came to installing the electronics, again, it was mildly intimidating because I don't really build furniture and I'm not much of a handyman, but it really was as simple as just drill them into the board and plug them in. And honestly, without having to contact support to figure out the thing with the pilot holes, this was far easier than building anything that I have ever purchased at IKEA. I personally came from an IKEA countertop desk, and if you don't know about those, they're big, they are super thick, and they're super heavy. So I was a little concerned when seeing how thin the bamboo board was that it might be a little bit shaky, but it is incredibly sturdy. No matter what height it is at, there's incredibly minimal shakiness, and it's honestly better than the IKEA countertop as far as how sturdy it is. And that's crazy considering it is like a third of the thickness. The controller on the desk, which is how you control how high or how low your desk is, has a little LED display that showcases how many inches the desk is, and it has multiple profiles that you can just save at. So I immediately saved my sitting height and my standing height between 28 inches and 43 inches for standing. Super simple, press the memory button, press the sit or stand button, and it's off to the races. It remembers my positions. It also has two other mappable positions that I don't know if I will ever use because I don't do much with the desk besides sit or stand at it. So really, to recap all that, the desk is really easy to set up, it's incredibly sturdy, and the electronics are incredibly simple. But living with this desk is the best part about it. Not the setup, it is just getting to experience the luxury that is being able to stand up while working. And I want to be really upfront, as a desk, as just a table that you sit at, I really like this desk. It is incredibly beautiful as far as the finish goes. The bamboo is wonderful. It is very durable. Like I said earlier, it's incredibly sturdy, and paired with the white legs, it really matches the white and tan look that I have going around in my office space. The process of getting used to remembering that I can switch my desk to a standing position and a sitting position took a little bit of getting used to, but I'm honestly starting to love it. I think I was also originally concerned by maybe it just being a gimmick and eventually I would just never use it as a standing desk and I would stay sitting. But ever since getting this thing, I switch between standing and sitting 3 times a day. And not just to fill out my Apple Watch stand rings. It's great to have your back start aching and remember, oh wait, I can just stand up and keep working. And unless you've spent double to triple the amount that you would spend on a desk on some sort of godly office chair, then you're probably sitting in a $50 to $200 chair that kinda sucks and eventually just hurts to be in. I'm able to do a lot of my work standing now, which is really awesome as a creator who's always grinding through content creation in school, as well as somebody who's just trying to get my health in check. I genuinely think that anybody who does a ton of office work, be that programming or video editing or whatever you do, should eventually consider getting a standing desk. The market has a ton of options, but honestly, the best bang for your buck is FlexiSpot. With good prices tied to great materials and reliability, it's honestly a no-brainer. Regardless of what's on the desk, the upward and downward movements are very smooth and safe. It's not wobbly, and I've got no concerns about things falling off. And you can honestly put a ton of weight on this thing. It's rated for over 350 pounds, which is way more than I will ever need to have on this desk. And the last thing that adds to its incredible value in the market is the fact that FlexiSpot does a 12-year warranty on it. All in all, this is the FlexiSpot E6, and this thing is awesome. The link to check it out is down in the description or over there if you're using the new watch page on YouTube. Highly recommend anybody in the office or working from home checks these things out. They're honestly just so worth it. And I do want to let you guys know that the links in the description do end up helping out the channel. So if you do pick one up, it is a massive help to me and the YouTube channel. But I also want to say thank you to FlexiSpot and honestly the incredibly responsive and kind and helpful team over there for making all of this happen. Anyway though, I'll see you guys next week. See ya.
You can achieve your dreams.
Achieve your dreams, chat. Manual chat.